Hello world, it's Heather Lee Cameron. Life has not been easy for me, especially recently. So I wrote a letter to communicate how I was feeling. Because let's be real, it's not easy to exist with disabilities. It's not easy to be a person with disabilities who lives in a world that wasn't made for them, and it is very unkind to their existence. I have so many feelings about this, and not all of them are being respected when I try to communicate verbally about them to people that have postured themselves to be trustworthy. So I'm going to read this letter that I wrote expressing my feelings because I've always been good at writing, and maybe this will be heard more than actually speaking. So I will read this letter, and I hope all of you take a minute to think about it and to think about what's up in my world. And I hope this letter teaches you how important it is to care about the forgotten, because that's how I feel right now. I feel forgotten. But you know what? I matter too. I matter too. I have worth. Anyway, dear world, I feel like I am being shoved into a box and forced to stay there simply because people don't want to deal with me and would rather I not exist to them. You know, isn't it sad? I try to be my good, creative, gentle self, and people just would rather me not. But I deserve to be around. I deserve to have joy. I deserve to be me. Anyway, more of the letter. I am an actor, writer, independent filmmaker, volunteer, member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and all-around great person who has done a lot and still has a lot to give. I have a lot of titles. I may have my struggles, yes, but I've got a lot of titles, and a lot of work has gone into giving myself those titles. I have a right to those titles, and I have a right to have the respect that comes with those titles. Anyway, I also happen to be a person with disabilities. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I've got ADHD, a nonverbal learning disorder. Nonverbal learning disorder is similar to autism. It's got a lot of the traits similar to autism, but I don't know if it is or not. But it doesn't diminish my worth one bit. It's really taken time for me to learn how to love myself as I am. It's taking even longer, though, for people to learn to love me as I am and even acknowledge that I exist. Anyway, that brings me on to more of the letter. I can't hide my disabilities, nor do I want to try. But people's reactions have been less than kind and welcoming. The barriers I have faced are insurmountable and are continuing to grow day by day. They are not getting better, even though I am working to be better each and every day. I am not being allowed to be the creative, helpful person I am capable of being. I'm basically being told to just be quiet and stay out of the way. Like, how mean is that? I am also not being allowed to learn and grow into a better version of myself because all others see in me is a problem that needs to be boxed up, shoved into the darkness, and forgotten about. I am a person worthy of a love and life, not a problem that needs to be solved and shoved away. And yet, I am currently in a garden, in a situation, in a life that has been less than inclusive or welcoming to me and my want to thrive joyfully. You know, I'm getting really tired of trying my best to grow and hearing the gamut of excuses as to why I'm not allowed. What am I referring to? I can give you some examples, some very glaring examples without using names, of course. But I can give you some very glaring examples of that, not being allowed to grow. Like, I'm a writer and an actor, a filmmaker, a volunteer, everything that's good and helps the world to thrive, because the world cannot thrive without creativity. But I am being excluded from opportunities, even volunteer ones, without an explanation as to why. People in charge of a lot of opportunities just say no or provide no response to my offering without seeing my potential for growth or what I can bring to the table. I'm not even allowed to sit at the table or even approach the table. They just see me and they see disability and they say no. Rachel, I would love that. Come and message me after this is over and we shall talk. Another example is being continually told that there is a limited budget that won't allow me to gain more work in professional fields, and then witnessing others being hired on in that same professional field, despite the so-called limited budget. And, you know, this is the treatment I get after doing all that I can to make sure that the professional field doesn't crumble in days when there aren't enough hands to get the work done. Where I am basically all the hands, my thank you is to be told that there isn't enough of a budget to show our gratitude, and yet we're willing to hire somebody else to take over. We're willing to hire somebody else that will work with us despite our so-called limited budget. I'm a journalist and an actor and an independent filmmaker, and I'm a writer as well. Those are the fields. I'm talking about how people have told me there's supposedly no budget for me, but yet they'll hire somebody else with their supposedly strange budget. Newsflash, I don't believe that it's about the budget at all. If there's a budget issue, why are you hiring more people that will strain the budget that you claim is already strained? It's about not wanting to work with me because of my quirks, which are not harmful to you. They're just quirks. They mean I learn differently, approach people differently, and just get things done differently, but I still get things done. I'm still productive. I'm still wonderful. And I still will bring a lot of light to you and your profession. In addition to that, and this just really gets under my craw, in addition to this, you know about my disabilities and have even told me that you know about grants specifically designed for disabled creatives that would help your budget, and you simply didn't apply for them because you didn't have time, despite having the time to do everything else that you do in the day. And when there is an opportunity that you offer me, you don't do anything to offer accommodations so I can access that opportunity, and you get mad when I say I can't do it because it's not accessible. And so it's painful. But you conveniently find ways to make opportunities accessible for others just because they say they need it. But when I say I need it, why is it not accessible for me as well? I'd be happy to do more work and to get more done if I had more accessibility in regards to a job market. I do feel that making opportunities inaccessible is discrimination. It definitely is, and it needs to change. Anyway, another example is being silently excluded from opportunities to serve others, whether it be voluntary or pay or within the faith or outside of the faith. I am excluded from opportunities to be a friend and to share my talents with people, despite sharing a faith with them, despite having good, heartwarming skills that could make the days of others bigger and brighter. I am always feeling like there are people in my circle that claim to be my friend only to see them work hard to make sure I don't get to access opportunities simply because they know me and they think I can't handle that. They think they know me and that they think they know what's good for me, but they don't ask whether or not I'm willing to stretch to do good in the world. They don't ask. They just assume that I can't because they think they know me. Well, nobody really knows anybody. Nobody really knows anybody's capabilities. So instead of just assuming that people can't do things just because they have disabilities, why not just ask them what they can do? And invite them to grow and learn from experiences. Because people with disabilities are people first, and all people have a right to have nourishing experiences, growth experiences, and happy experiences. They have a right to be productive just like non-disabled people do. Like, and that brings me to the accessibility of opportunities. Like, as I said, I'm an actor, and one of the things I struggle with is not being able to access acting opportunities, even as a volunteer or a background, simply because casting people see my quirks and my self-tapes, they see my resume, and I have mentioned my disability on my resume because it's not something I can hide, so why would I? Anyway, they see this mentioned on my resume, they see quirks in the self-tape they don't like, and they don't really take the time to get to know me. Even though I'm very pretty on paper and I'm very pretty in person, they just do what they can to distance themselves from me because getting to know someone like me is too scary. I've even been shunned by those who have opportunities specifically designed for people with disabilities. And that's embarrassing, to be shunned by a network that is allegedly designed for people with disabilities. And it's simply because I'm quirky. I don't meet a standard. But if you're doing something that's specifically designed for actors with disabilities, why are you turning somebody with disabilities away? Who's the opportunity really for? It's obviously not for someone with disabilities, because you're just turning people with disabilities away. Like, is it because my disabilities are invisible? They're not visible? Does that mean they don't exist to you? My disabilities really do exist. And on top of that, I got endometriosis, which means having kids are probably not in my future. So I value the opportunity to be creative and tell stories and help others bring their stories to life, because it's like the way I can contribute to the world and bring others joy. So why would you want to exclude me from that? Why? It's not fair. I have a right to bring others joy in that way. And I have a right to exist as I am and just really thrive. Not everything is easy, but I'm willing to try everything that will help me grow and to become a better person. I just need the chance. I've shown again and again that I have talent and potential and desire to grow. But silence or fearful responses or shunning, saying, oh, we're not quite ready to accept you as you are. That's the response I get. Is it really so harmful to have me as part of a particular project or a particular work of art, even as a piece of the background? Being part of things, even just a little bit, helps me to feel like I belong. I got into acting simply because you can go into different worlds where you fit. Because I don't always fit in this world that I'm in right now. So I try to put myself in other worlds through my acting and my writing where I fit and where I can belong and feel welcome. But how can I feel welcome if I can't even get an invitation to set a foot in that world? I'm truly not scary. I just want to belong. and give you my best. And the whole concept of belonging leads me to the concept of social opportunities. I am constantly left out of social opportunities, even though people know I exist and sometimes need help accessing those opportunities. Like, sometimes they're too far away. Sometimes I don't know when and where they are. Sometimes I just need someone to tell me that it's okay to access those opportunities. But, a lot of people aren't understanding. They're like, people tell me if they can access it, or if people with other disabilities can access it, I should also be able to access it. And they sort of back away from taking responsibility for how those kind of comments make me feel. Like, I'm not everybody else, I'm me. And sometimes I need to know that it's okay to come into a space. I need to know that I'm welcome, and I need to know that people actually care about me being in a space. But, people, they never take responsibility for themselves. And if I speak up, I'm made to seem like a troublemaker. I'm truly made to seem like a troublemaker if I speak up about needing grace or accommodation. And, people do this a lot. They make me feel or seem like I'm a troublemaker when I try to raise attention to the fact that I am being excluded professionally, creatively, socially, and in other ways. They tell me they don't see it, and that I need to provide examples to them of how I'm being left out. And then they punish me for trying to rise in ways that don't involve them. Like, even recently, like within the last month, I was told in church that I shouldn't bear my testimony of God and Jesus Christ because it took too much time. Like, basically they were telling me I don't need to take up time and space. I just need to stay quiet and to myself because I'm too much. And all I wanted to do was just simply express my love for Jesus Christ, and he loves everybody, so I don't get why I wasn't allowed to share. I found other ways to share, but it's like being censored in a space that is supposed to be devoted to sharing love for God and Jesus Christ, all loving beings. That's painful. I'm still feeling the effect of that. Like, nobody's said it since, but I find other ways to bear it because I don't know where I'm welcome to share my love anymore. And that's the same in social spaces. I don't talk a lot in social spaces that I don't know because I don't know what the reaction would be. I don't know if I'd be told to just stay quiet and keep to yourself because you take up too much space. I don't want to just take up space. I want to belong. I'm left on an island because people think I take up too much space. And they are annoyed by it rather than really enjoying my presence and enjoying my right to life and enjoying the right I have to thrive. You know, they leave me on this island alone. And it's very lonely to be on an island. There's only so much you can be and do when you're on an island by yourself. It's even more lonely when people shove you there with their unkindness, take away every means you can use to remove yourself from that island, and outright punish you when you try to grow out of the island or remind the larger world that you also exist and have a right to space as you are. You know, that's something I'd like to talk about a minute, the mistreatment. I endure mistreatment like I just mentioned. And you know what sucks? A lot of people see it, but nobody says anything. A lot of people see the mistreatment, but nobody says anything about it. They just literally watch it happen, and they stand by, drowning in apathy. Why don't they say anything? Why do they leave me to try and clean up the mess alone? Why do they leave me in the mess alone? It's not fair. And it leaves me to explain that the mistreatment isn't okay. And I get more negative attention that way when I say, hey, I have a right to be treated with dignity and respect. You can't just mistreat me because I've got disabilities. I've had to do that before, though, tell someone their treatment of me or behavior towards me is inappropriate. But that comes with consequences. Speaking up for myself has come with very bad consequences. I've come to learn that speaking up in my defense, instead of seeking help from people who actually have the power to do something to help me, gets people gossiping, and it gets any aggressors trashing me behind my back and just knocking my professional abilities to the point where I get excluded from a lot of opportunities, and I'm made to seem like I'm the problem when I simply tried to stop a problem. It's quite troubling. And as I try to belong, as I try to exist, as I try to thrive, I come to know that those who don't want me to exist or thrive, they make sure everybody knows it. I've literally been at social events and come to learn that others have a problem with me being there just because I'm there and trying my best to get along. Others have spread a very bad message about me saying, she's got problems, but she's working on them. I don't have problems. I've got disabilities. They're not problems. I'm not a problem. I'm simply trying to live and thrive in a world that is very unkind, and you're just adding to the unkindness and the bad way that comments like that make me feel. I mean, and what business of it is yours? What I'm doing about my struggles? I'm trying to move beyond them, but stupid comments like yours don't let me do that. People have invited me to things only to say that I followed them and stalked them, and they just make me seem like an awful person. Also saying that I flirt with everybody I meet, or that I'm too unstable to be a good friend because I always want to be more than friends with everyone I meet. No, I don't. I'm always friendly to people. That doesn't mean I'm flirting with you. It means I'm just friendly and eager to be your friend and eager to be included. There's no reason to be cruel about that. I mean, rumors are so destructive, and they have destroyed a lot of good opportunities I've had with potentially decent people. Like this person I went to a social event with a long time ago actually was so caught up in the rumors that he literally parked down the street from my house to pick me up rather than just right there because he didn't want to be seen coming near me. Rumors can be so destructive. And it's lonely to be at a distance from everybody. It's lonely to be on a social island, but nobody will let me get close. They just get their ideas about what I'm like via gossip. And they don't get to know me personally. And they come to hate me because gossip teaches them that I'm only worthy of hate. Nobody will let me get close. And so I've had to learn to be alone and get comfortable there. Even though being alone is not a comfortable existence. It's not a comfortable space to live in. I've made a home of it, but I don't want it to be a permanent home. I've been bullied by adults who should know better, and they do their best to keep me from opportunities, only allowing me to go if someone can keep an eye on me and make sure I'm not a troublemaker. This has happened several times in my life. And, it's not the way I should be treated. I should be treated as a person worthy to be loved and not a problem to be solved. The issue of me not being welcome and not feeling welcome definitely exists. Is that enough for you to take your glasses off and look at the issue more closely? Or do you exist in the same space and watch with your blinders on, thinking that it doesn't affect you so you won't pay attention? Or you think somebody else will care so I don't have to? Apathy affects us all. I mean, I've said my piece on how we need to remember to care before. But when are you all actually going to listen? Rather than just see my words and move on because you think my struggles have nothing to do with you. If they weren't such a problem, I wouldn't talk about them so much. Maybe when they become less of a problem, when people actually start to care about what I'm going through, maybe I'll talk about it less and just talk about more about how wonderful life is. Life is wonderful to a degree, but it's also lonely. Because I'm not thriving as much as I should and can. Because indifference is very much a pandemic that keeps doors closed. Honestly, when are y'all gonna listen to that? Stop, look, listen, learn, and act. Why don't you? I feel like I'm on the edge of society, just asking to be let in, asking to be allowed at tables, asking to be at least invited to tables so I can try to get along with everybody else. Can I come into society yet? Please? I'm lonely and trying to keep the harm caused by indifference from breaking me. I know I'm loved by God and Jesus Christ. I truly do. I would just like to be loved by others as well. It's a fight, though, and it's a long, lonely fight. People are designed to bear each other up as God and Christ bear every single one of us up. We were all put on this earth together so that we could bear each other up. So why aren't we doing it? I'd like some company so that life isn't so lonely. I mean, I obviously have the company of God and Jesus Christ, and their presence and love will never leave my life because I won't let it. But I'd also like the company of other people too. We were made to bear each other up. We were made to just bring out the best in each other. But I've had to learn to bring out the best in me through God and Jesus Christ, because people in general, they aren't as excited to bring that out. May I have your company so I can grow and learn and become better than I am? I mean, God and Christ would like me to have company too, because the worth of my soul is great in their sight, and it is their work and glory to bring to pass my life, and they are trying. They are trying to help me bring to pass my life, but God sends people to help each other, and I would like that help too. I'm worthy of it. I'm worthy of the loving help that they're trying to give me, but where is it? I keep asking where it is, and people have their agency. They don't choose to be of help to me, and I accept it. It hurts, but I accept it. I see and I know that I have a right to grow and flourish, but it is pretty hard to do. when the garden that I am in either wants me to keep to myself, go away, or just stop being around them, or the sun that will allow for growth. I strive to see the sun every single day. I do my best to see it, but it's very hard when you're around people that only want to remind you that you're taking up space and time that you're not worthy to take. Honestly, I am worthy of space and time. I am worthy of love. I know this. But I would like to see people also express their belief in that, because I believe in myself. I believe in my right to love and life and joy. But anybody who wants to grow, they need help. They need support. They don't need someone to tell them that they just take up space and time and that they should just be quiet and still. Take your glasses off. Look at me. Look at me as I am. I am worthy of love, and I invite you all to see that. Let me grow, let me flourish. I am one of God's valuable creations, just like you. Christ atoned for me as well as for you. So I matter, and I know that. Just please see it and let me start to have peace as I try to find space where I'm welcome. May I go unto others and to opportunities and grow without people and their unfettered prejudices getting in the way, to the point where they cause me hurt, to the point where they stop me from growing and flourishing, because truly I am a child of God. I believe in my right to grow. But others and their limited vision don't believe in my rights or see me as I see myself, or as God and Christ see me. Help me to help myself grow by telling me that it's okay, that I have a right to the space that will help me grow. Please, because I definitely do have a right to space. I have a right to thrive. The worth of my soul is great in the sight of God, and I want to focus on that instead of all this pain that I have been brought by people who've allowed indifference to rule them and their souls. I see myself as beautiful. Help me to build myself up by seeing the same. Honestly, I lack wisdom in how to properly love and care for myself simply because I'm worn down by all the negativity that I've faced, especially in recent years. I need permission to just stop focusing on the pain and focus on the joy and the journey that grabbing joy is. Please help me to focus on the joy. I don't belong in a box. I belong on the path of life, in the game of life, just like everybody else. I am a person with disabilities, but I am still a person, just capable of thriving and finding joy. I'm very, very happy to find joy, and I'm very happy to take a journey that will guide me to joy. So please help me to know and feel that I am worthy of space, grace, and joy for the journey. Help me to stay out of the box that the world is trying to force me into. And help me to be able to disentangle myself from the negativity that I might see the sun and thrive from its warming rays. Because I deserve space to live and thrive and find joy as I am and how I was made. Thank you for enjoying this letter. Hopefully it's taught you some things.